Welcome back, Kryptonians, to the Chart Experts continuing coverage of Bitcoin and the crypto charts. This is your host Asim, and this is your market update for Bitcoin. Okay, so let's deal with some of the fundamental news that we've been hearing recently, because I know lots of people want to find causality, even though most of the time it's largely irrelevant to the price action that we see on the charts. But so we've been hearing about the ETH ETF, the Ethereum ETF, and as we've said with the Bitcoin ETFs, this news is likely to be largely bearish and negative, because we would expect these ETFs to want to accumulate Ethereum at the lows rather than the highs. Okay, so the current range that we see Ethereum in, that would be a selling range rather than a buying range. Okay, so that news that there is an ETF likely, that would entice small fish, smaller players into the market who can easily buy Ethereum whenever they want without affecting the price. But in terms of the whales, the bigger players, we would expect those bigger players to try to push price lower, i.e. Set their orders at low prices in order to accumulate Bitcoin and Ethereum in this case, at cheaper prices. Okay, right. So then we've got the US presidential elections. Trump and Vance, just horrible characters, really. But apparently they are pro crypto. Right. So what we've seen in the past, and this again is pretty similar to things that we've discussed previously. Trump, billionaire. Vance, probably a multi-millionaire. Most of these people accumulated weapons stocks prior to the massacre in Palestine. And they profited a huge amount from that war, like they do with all wars. Most of these members of the US Senate tend to buy weapons and defense sector stocks prior to invasions of countries all over the world. War is a business for them. Likewise, if they are pro crypto, i.e. wanting to be invested in this market, then they, like the ETFs, would want cheaper prices. Okay, so even though they're pro crypto, they are negative for the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, because they do not want to buy at high prices, especially with their sort of buying power. That's not small fish, that's big fish, that's whale type buying power. And as soon as they start buying, inevitably the market, the price will get pushed higher. So they don't want to be buying at the top of the range, they want to be buying at the bottom of the range. Okay, right. And lastly, we've seen global cloud IT issues. This news is very negative for Bitcoin and all of these markets, really, because if specialist cybersecurity systems and global cloud servers can be taken down, then does this inspire confidence in IT-based money? No, it doesn't. Even though you could argue that Bitcoin is a completely separate system and way more decentralized and so on, but in terms of the sentiment, you'd expect that to be a negative sentiment on the whole of the IT sector. Okay, Okay, right. So that's the fundamental news out of the way. Hopefully, I've given my take on that. Let's see what the story is on the charts, because this is getting interesting now. Before I go into our expectations in the market, what I will say as a counter to it, and we always have to say, right, okay, we could be wrong in terms of our analysis, in terms of our reading of the story of the charts. This movement here does look impulsive. Okay, now if we are wrong, for example, in terms of our analysis, what we would expect to see is something like, for example, either a clear break above 74k before we see any sort of pullback. Okay, so it could be like this, or it could go deeper and then push higher. Okay, so that's one possibility. What could also happen is we see a movement here where we were expecting the pullback to be, roughly. Okay, 65, 66, 67, it doesn't really matter. Okay, and then we see the pullback, and then we see the push higher to break above the all-time high. Okay, so those would be counter to our expectations, but because we've seen impulsive looking price action, we have to be cognizant of that. Okay, but we do not expect that at all. Okay, I'll just say that just to be clear. What we have seen right now is that we were expecting for the counter trend move to be complete at round about 65k. Okay, and there are reasons for that, which let's not get too deep into the technicals of this, but even at the current price, we'd still say that we are expecting for this market to now pull back and for selling to start in this market. Okay, and I'll discuss some of this more technical part of the price action in this video. Okay, now my patrons have been asking the question, does this invalidate our expectation that price will continue to move strongly lower? Okay, the answer is no, it does not. But because of what we've said in terms of the impulsive looking nature of this particular wave, it could mean that price will continue within this range for longer, the range being 56 to 74k, and it could mean that we could see a pullback, i.e. we could see a pullback and around about here, for example, and then a push higher. Okay, but all within this particular range. Okay, that is if this is a selling range. Okay, which is our expectation, and we've mentioned previously why that is our expectation. It's because the whales, the ETFs, have not accumulated enough Bitcoin from our reading of the price action. Okay, so if you go back over my previous Patreon posts, then you'll understand why we believe that not enough Bitcoin has been accumulated by the ETF community. Okay, so we've explained previously, we're expecting for price movement to continue strongly lower. Therefore, any price movement between this range of 56k to 74k is all about order fulfillment in our eyes. Okay, so let's just get rid of that. Okay, I'm going to get rid of some of our previous notes just to give you an understanding of what we mean here, all about order fulfillment. and let's just get rid of all of this. Okay, and I think that's about right. Okay, right, so what we saw previously was that Bitcoin started selling off at 74k, and as it was bought, it was also sold. There was strong selling, strong selling, strong selling, strong selling, and then price moved higher, and eventually we saw even more strong selling, and a lack of bid, really, a lack of bid leading to 53k roughly. Okay, so bearing in mind the fact that we've seen a lack of bid here previously, we saw the bids coming in here, we saw the bids coming in here, we saw the bids coming in here, but here there was a lack of bid. Okay, so price basically waterfalled downwards. All right, so we have seen some buying here where sell stops were collected. So all of these people that were buying around here, they had sell stops. Those sell stops were run. Okay, so all of these buyers, anyone who bought over here, most likely placed their sell stops below this low to be safe, and those sell stops were run. Obviously someone has to take the other side of that trade, so there was buying here, okay, at bargain levels, right, so those people will be wanting to take profits on their positions. Okay, also we have to be cognizant of where they will take profits on those positions. They need buyers. Okay, so buyers are above the previous swing highs, right? So I've marked out buyers here, and buyers here. Now two of these positions have already been taken out. Okay, so because there was a lack of bids above, let's just say 63,800, okay, previously there was a lack of bid. You see very small buying there, small buying there, so on. We were expecting for the upwards movement of price to fizzle out around here. Okay, and for these guys who bought here to then sell into the buying above the previous swing highs. So these would be new buyers looking to buy the breakout, and yes, we did see selling occurring into that. Okay, you see the wicks down as well through that level, so we did see selling there, which is what we'd expect to see. But then what we can also see is that price continued to go higher to around about 67k. Okay, now again, there are buyers over there who are going to take the other side of selling of these guys that bought these positions and now are looking for buyers to sell into. Okay, so these buyers can sell into these guys there, and even up to, what is that, 7247 or something along those lines. 70, yeah, 70 and 200. So these are targets basically for these guys to sell into at higher prices, and obviously who doesn't love higher prices when you're selling? Okay, so that's our position on that. We believe that this is simply selling into buyers to take profits, and then also activating short positions if, for example, you've got large players who are looking to short sell the market. They will have seen that this break of structure occurred here. Okay, so in their eyes, this market is likely to continue lower, and they now want short positions. And where will they take those short positions? Well, where there are buyers, basically, okay, who will take the other side of that position. So these are, you know, the levels that we are looking at right now. But anything between 56k and 74k is really all up for grabs. But having said all of that, the most likely scenario is that we've seen the end of any sort of upward movement. So what we could see in this case is this wave here, a pullback, and then a lower high, and then down. Okay, it's also possible that we could see that slightly higher high, or if they really want to make us suffer, right up to that level there, okay, and then down. But our expectation still remains that price is likely to move lower in the next few weeks, shall we say. Okay, how long price remains within this range? Well, because of the impulsive nature that we've seen here previously, we are expecting for price to continue in this range until it doesn't. And time is not really that important in this case. Okay, so I hope this helps. If it does, please give this video a thumbs up, share it, subscribe. Hey, this is Asim at the Chart Experts, wishing you every success. Take care of yourself and your crypto. Till next time. Bye bye.